So this is TaskStream. You'll have a section for student teaching, and some of that's just like the reports, like it'll up your IEP, like whatever you, I think it's not coming up because it won't be past the GP, but it'll show you like your evaluations and stuff through this. Okay, you can go to scores and reports, and your supervisor will upload your score for everything, like after your lessons that they observe. This is off topic of the EdTPA, but that's just so you guys are familiar with TaskStream. And you go into the EdTPA, and everything you'll upload each section here. So I'll take you to my lesson plans. So you have to put every lesson plan together in one document. Your lesson plans can't be more than 4 pages. My suggestion is the Mount St. Mary lesson plans are very long. You need to find a way to cut it down. Like I thought of the most important things a lesson should have. So I did the goals, I did the standards, I did the objective, I did my materials, technology. You want your intro, your development, the guided practice, obviously the directions, your closure, which is really important. You want to make sure you have a good closure to every lesson that you do. Your accommodations and modifications, and what your independent practice was, and your formal and informal assessments. You'll see in the EdTPA handbook, like that's a really important part. They want to see if you know the difference between formal and informal. I don't know if you guys got into that yet. So you'll learn how to kind of separate what you're doing is from formal and informal. Let me go back and find the rubrics.
Brianna?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just saw something in there that a phrase I hadn't heard of. Inference notes?
So inference notes is really important. When you're walking around and your kids are doing the independent practice or even guided practice, you want to be taking notes. Field notes are really important, and especially in your video. They're going to tell you that in the student teaching meetings. Have a little piece of paper, have something, a computer, a tablet. You want them in the video to see that you're writing on something. You always want to make sure, even if you're not writing and you're pretending to write, make it look like you're writing something, because that's really important, and you can talk about it in the commentary, and you can say, listen, like I took my inference notes, this was my observations, and this is what I can do better next time, and I saw student A really didn't pick up what we were doing, this is how I can help them next time. So it's always something to like reference back on. You don't have to submit the reference notes. Sometimes I was so nervous I wasn't even really writing notes. I was just kind of like, you know, pretending like I was, but they're important, so you do want to do reference notes. Okay, so for, what task is this? So this is task 1, part D. Literacy assessment. So in this part, you're going to put all of your assessments together for every lesson that you did in one file. As you can see, I put my guided practice, and always make sure you label them so EdTPA knows what you're talking about. They make that very clear in rubric and guidelines. So that was my guided practice. This was an independent practice, and then here's my rubric. So this was for assessment 1, and this was for assessment 2. So it's really simple. You just do a graph in Word, just make a table. I did from 0 to 3, nothing too complicated. And then you just, 0 is didn't do anything at all. 1 was, you know, they did it, but they didn't include the right 2 was, they had like something going on that was good, and then 3 was obviously they had everything that I was looking for. So that was for the first lesson. See, like for my second lesson, the guided practice, they drew on a blank piece of paper the sequence of events, so obviously that wasn't something I could upload, but I clearly put, for this lesson, they are drawing on a white piece of construction paper. And then this was the independent practice. And independent practice too, don't think it like has to be in the classroom. It can be for homework if you do run out of time, which you will. Try to keep your lessons at least 45 minutes, they say, or however long your class period is. My first video I ran over, and obviously that disrupts the class period too, so just keeping track of your time. That's also for any lesson you do. Always keep your eye on the clock, because you will lose track of time. It happens. And then again, this was the rubric for lesson 2. This was lesson 3. And as you can see, I made all of my worksheets and everything myself. I didn't take them from a source because I just felt it was more authentic, and I knew my kids, so I knew what would grasp their attention better than just taking it from offline. You can absolutely take resources offline as long as you cite them. Make sure whatever teachers work, even if you're looking at something on Pinterest, make sure you cite it. Like, everything is just really important that you cite everything, just so they can't say, oh, she didn't cite this, plagiarism. You don't want that to happen. So, and rubric for that. So even like this, I made something out of construction paper, so I took a picture of it to show that was what I did for that activity. And even I made it on a piece of paper. I just scanned it, I sent it into the document. You want to make sure that any images, just like this one that I had, you want to make sure they're in a Word document. EdTPA doesn't want any JPEGs or any images outside of a Word document, so you don't want to just upload an image. It has to be in a Word document. That's really important, or they won't accept it. And that's pretty much it. That's the basis. For my last lesson, this was the lesson that I focused on in Task 3, because in Task 3 it's going to ask you about one assessment that you did, and that was like my overall lesson. So this obviously had a lot more criteria to it, because that's really what I was analyzing the students on, because by the end I really needed to see whether they could retell a story or not. So this was like the big overall project for them. So that's why this is a lot more detailed. So as you can see, like, I had criteria, organization, their sentences, how they sequence the events, details, like vocabulary, correct information, and their drawing.